Welcome back to Homesteading with the Heberts, guys. Today what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and work on the snowblower. I pulled it out here. It's that time of year where we're going to be getting our first snowstorm soon. So we might want to make sure that this is running fairly well. It is an older machine and it's treated me well. I mean, I got it used and fixed it. It's worked well up until now. Last year towards the end of the season we were getting rough starts. Alright, so here we are again, and the snowblower at the end of last year was starting to give us some problems. It was doing hard starts, and I just pulled it out of the garage, and it was really hard to get it started again. And what the problem is, I keep having to pump the primer to keep it running. Once it gets going and it's warmed up, it's fine. The choke hasn't been working either, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the shroud here. And take the shroud off to get to the carburetor. And then we're going to try to clean out the carburetor, even see if the line for the choke is even connected. And we'll work on that and see what we find. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is take these two screws out. These are not the original screws in here. Alright, so there we go, we got the shroud off. And as we can see here, there's a lot of nastiness in here. So we definitely need to get this cleaned up. So we're going to be working on that. These two have no adjustments. No adjustments needed on that one because we're not going to be taking that off. The only one we're going to be taking off is this one here. So we'll handle that here in a minute. So let's see, we're probably going to go ahead and take these two bolts here off. We got the fuel line there we're going to have to take off. Although we do have fuel in here, I wanted to run it until it's done. Once Jamie gets back with my car, we'll be able to do that. We're going to just take all this apart and get that carburetor cleaned up. So now we just got to wait. Alright, well I just thought of this. My wife is on her way back. But I just realized I did have some carb cleaner already here. I didn't need to use the newer stuff. So we're just going to go ahead and clean up the outside while waiting on her. Now I don't want to be getting this hose too much with the carb cleaner because it'll help corrode it, so I'm just going to get it out of the way. And I'm going to grab something to dry that off with. Just going to go grab a rag, I'll be right back. Alright, so there we go, that's good. We're just going to tuck that up here behind the switch. There we go. that allow me to spray it and not worry so much about it. But as you can see, the outside is already getting cleaned up pretty good. So we'll spray a little bit more there. That looks so much better already. And I'm interested to see what we find on the inside. Alright, the good thing is this stuff does evaporate quickly, so I'm not going to be too worried about once I start this back up. So we're going to go ahead and get out the seafoam, and we're going to treat the motor and the gas with seafoam. Alright guys, so I'm going to run this until it runs out of fuel. So we're going to take some seafoam and put it into the fuel line or into the tank. It says to use 1 ounce per gallon. So I'm gonna, or it says if you really need to do a heavy cleaning, to go ahead and use 2. So I'm not going to be too concerned with the amount that I put in. So I'm going to put what I think is about 2 ounces or a little more. That should be good. It also says that this helps to stabilize fuel. I'm going to just put a little more. It's okay. It says to use, I mean, it does say 2 ounces, but it also says you can use the whole thing if it's diesel, so I don't think it's going to hurt either way. And then it says to use 1 ounce per quart of oil. I'm going to be doing an oil change as well, so I'm going to put what I think is about 1 ounce in there. We're going to call that good. And that's supposed to help clean the crankcase as well. So we're going to go ahead and fire this up. Now it's been sitting just for a little bit since it's been running. So we're going to try to hand crank it. So we'll turn it on. And we'll try to hand crank it once and see if it'll fire up. Turn the choke back off. Here we go. And it's not firing up easily that way. So I'm going to go ahead and go grab the extension cord. Actually, I'm going to try one more time, not holding the camera, and see if we can get this started. See, that's the issue we're having right there. So we'll get it started again, prime it. Oh yeah? Alright guys, I'm just getting a little further away from the snowblower so you can hear me a little bit better. I just wanted to let you know what was going on. I'm going to go ahead and let that run now until the fuel tank is completely dry, and then we're going to go ahead and take the carburetor off and get that cleaned up. Hopefully we can do that today before the sun goes down. Alright, so the motor just shut off on its own.
Literally just shut off.
So don't touch it, it's hot. So now what we're going to have to do is we're just going to have to wait and let it cool down before we can actually do any work to it. Oh yeah, it's really hot.
What's this?
That's the shroud that goes around it, honey. So what we're going to do is we're just going to let it sit here, let it cool off, probably let it cool off overnight, and then we'll come out and we'll tomorrow and we'll take the carburetor off and see how nasty it is on the inside. I'm wishing I would have taken it out first before I ran the seafoam through it just to see if it did any cleaning, but if not, we'll see how it works. And I'll go ahead and clean it out and see how well it works after that. So we'll just turn the switch off, make sure it did use up all the fuel. The tank is dry, so we're good there.
Is this the key?
Yes. Well, it's like I said, we're just going to go ahead and let this cool off, and then we'll do the work on it tomorrow. Alright guys, so here we are back at the snowblower. I let it sit overnight so the engine's cooled off, so we'll be able to touch it a lot easier. And now we're going to have to go ahead and start taking it apart so that we can get to it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this carburetor off by taking this off first from here, and then that'll allow me to pull it out a little bit, and then I'll work on getting the fuel line off. So let me go grab the tools and we'll get started. Alright, so that one was easy. Fortunately, that's right next to the carburetor, I mean the muffler here. So I may take off the muffler, I don't know, I'm going to try it one more time, see if I can't get it. There we go. Probably going to be a gasket in there too I'm going to have to watch out for. Alright, so that's off. That gasket's looks pretty good. So we're good there. And take a look right there. Take a look right there. That's in the center hole there. I don't know well you guys can see it. It's in that center hole on the edge. So we have to remember that. Now that we got it hanging there, we're going to go ahead and try and pop that hose right there off. So I got a pair of vice grips here to get in there and pull that clip off. we got that backed off. Now we're just going to try and work the hose off here. So I'm just going to try and pry off this hose. Deep in there. Like that. As you can see, it's starting to come off.
They can't.
What's that?
They can't because of your hand.
It's fine. I'm not too worried about that. So we just keep prying that off. That's the fuel line. And there we go. We got it off. We've already burnt off all the fuel, so there's not going to be much in there. Next thing I'm going to do is just take off the breather hose here. Tuck that aside.
As you can see, it's kind of dripping.
We're just going to grab the screwdriver here and shove it in the hose.
So it doesn't drip a lot.
And pin that up.
Do you want me to just hold it up there?
I guess that screwdriver's not going to work.
What about this? Because it's round enough.
Let me try this one. That one will block off some of the fuel.
I was just being smart standing next to the store. I was like, okay.
Alright. So now we've got the carburetor separated. Odie, you want to go and grab some, no, this says fuel. Can you go grab the bottles that are on the porch? One of them says choking carb cleaner. We're just going to bring this over to the glass table. Wish I had a workshop for this stuff, but I really don't. So I'm going to work on it right here.
So we got these. These are going to help. These get probably cleaned up. The chickens are running back there. Hey, Raven! But we have this we're going to use later. This I thought that this is what we needed. You can get this at O'Reilly's. You can see that.
Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do now is this carburetor has a drain valve for the fuel. So I'm just going to push that so we can drain all the fuel out that's still in the bowl. Just so I want to prevent getting as much of it on my hands as I can. So there we go, it should be empty. And now before I take it apart, I did spray a little bit. I cleaned the one side yesterday.
It stinks now.
Now I'm going to clean this other side. Hey, you want to go in the garage and there's a rag on the ground? You want to grab it? Nope. Don't come up here.
No, stay down there.
I'm going to cover the ground again, or the table, with this cloth, just to help absorb some of the carb cleaner. I'm going to hit it again with it.
Don't come up here. Daddy's hanging it up.
It's fine, I'll go knock them if I have to. Just trying to clean up the outside a little bit.
Yep, he's up here.
Down. Chicken, go. The problem with not having a workshop is the chickens are all around me. Alright, so now that I get that off, I'm just going to go ahead and pull the bowl off. The bowl should just come right off. Alright guys, So we, after that little bit of excitement, we're going to go ahead and take the carburetor back over, and we're going to reassemble. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and put this back on. So the first thing we got to do is remember where we had the this, which is in this hole here. Now we're going to go ahead and pull that out. And there's nothing leaking. We're just going to go ahead and slide the hose back on. Grab that. Good job. Grab the clip, slide the clip down. Alright, so all we've done so far is we put the throttle cable back on, and then we put the fuel line back in. Now we're just going to reattach it up here.
Take this and put it right there.
I don't foresee this being easy with the muffler here.
The thing is, we have something, we just need to get it ready for this winter. It's coming pretty soon. We're supposed to get snow next Tuesday, I think.
Biggest problem is I can't feel.
Anything is wrong, I make it get so hard. I touch the sky.
My recommendation would probably be to go ahead and take that muffler off. Probably make it a little bit easier for you. I'm going to try it by hand one more time here.
And also, you know what you should do? You still have that thing cleaner.
Yes, I could spray that with the cleaner. I'm just trying to get this done. Just want to make sure I'm not double threading this on the way in here.
Sorry.
Alright, so that's back on. We're just going to put the breather hose back on here. Just slide that all the way on there. So that's good. Throttle switch is good. That's moving nice and easy. So everything looks like it's working good. So we're going to go ahead and put the shroud back on. Oh wait, gotta take this off. There we go. Go get the bolts. Alright guys, so I came back out to the snowblower because I realized I made a mistake when I was cleaning the carburetor. The reason I couldn't get the bowl off is I hadn't removed the jet, and I didn't try to take the bowl off after I had removed the jet. So I took it off, I came outside, and I removed the jet and was able to get the bowl off. So after doing that, I was going to go ahead and take it apart. So I went to put the bowl back on, and when I put the bowl back on, unfortunately, I made the mistake of tightening down the jet a little bit too much, and I snapped the brass jet. So now it's stuck up inside the carburetor, and the only way I know of fixing this now is I'm actually just going to order a new carburetor for this motor, and then we'll put that in and we'll call it good. So I've already went ahead and ordered it. What I did in the meantime though, just to make sure I don't lose anything, is I put all the screws back in the places that they go, so that I know where they are, and I'm just going to hang the housing on it for now. The other thing I ended up doing is I went to take the muffler off, and I snapped the bolt that's holding that on. Hopefully that's going to be okay though, because this muffler is so rusted on I can move the whole machine with it, so I'm hoping that's going to be alright. So I found an aftermarket carburetor for this for $15, which surprised me, and I'm just hoping it works as well and it actually fits this this carburetor. So I've got that on order, and when that comes in I'll do a video showing you guys us putting it together. But until then, thanks for coming along guys, and again, if you like what we're doing, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And here we're not just going to show you the stuff we do well. I'm going to show you guys the stuff that I screwed up as well, because we all learn from the mistakes, and this is one of those mistakes that I'm obviously going to learn from. It's also one of those that you kick yourself in the rear for, because I've taken many carburetors apart, taken many bowls off the carburetors, and always took the jet out first. I don't know why I didn't think of it this time. It just escaped me. I thought I could just twist the bowl off, but not on this one. But anyway, thanks for coming along guys, and remember to click that subscribe button. Have a great day. Bye.